What's up, everyone? Sly here with D and Flo. Guys, man, we heard the news. Our former boy, Aldon Smith, are out for a year, man, in jail for all his DUIs and everything. What? Are you wearing that Kaepernick jersey? Oh, man. We all remember what happened with Aldon Smith, Kaepernick, big fight that they had in. What do you guys think, man? What could have been? What do you guys go for it, man?
Man, this guy could have been one of the greats. He could have been a Hall of Famer. But instead, he decided to fight with our quarterback and destroy everything, man. We had it all. We had it all with this guy. He could have been one of the best. He was like set for greatness. He was our best player at the time for defense. And then he just couldn't put down the drink, man. He couldn't turn down the alcohol. And then all that just ended up just adding up. And then we gave him how many chances? Like 10 chances. Yeah. And even then, like, with the DUIs, with the crashes, the hit and run, with the bomb from airport. It's just like, man, this guy, and then fighting in the locker room. It was just like, it got to a point where it's like we couldn't handle him. And then he had to go across the bay. And that didn't change anything. The guy still bounced around. And it looks like he's still having trouble, still fighting those demons. But, man, it just sucks to see because it's like, in today's game, for those who haven't like witnessed like Aldon Smith playing, is basically how Nick Bosa is now, but just during those times it was like we had those run-ins in the NFC Championship with him, and man, he made like such an impact in those games. And I just still remember his rookie year with the Saints, how he would just get into Drew Brees, and man, that was like one of the best games I've ever seen him play. It's just like how he just like broke every tackle, was getting to him, and it was like one of the difference makers. So it's heartbreaking to see, man, honestly.
Yeah, man, I still remember the day we drafted Aldon Smith. Me and Sly were watching the draft, and I remember I said a comment. Do you remember what I said?
What did you say?
Because we drafted him. He came out of Missouri, and I remember I was like, man, this guy's mama don't even know
who he is. Yeah. I remember that. Yeah,
but then he turned out to be one of my favorite players of that Jim Harbaugh era, especially on that defense. And that defense had a lot of like great players: Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. We had Whitner, all those guys. But I think Aldon Smith was probably my favorite guy. That rookie year, he almost caught Michael Strahan, right? For the sacks leader. So that's how good he was. He was ahead of J.J. Watt in sacks, I believe, his rookie year. And then I think J.J. Watt kept the course going, and Aldon Smith started taking the course of the bottle, and then that kind of ruined his career. Also, the Kaepernick thingy, obviously, he touched up the quarterback all over a chick, man. I can't believe he let that go. But I guess that's what happens when you drink. But, man, I still remember Aldon Smith watching games. I was up in Oregon at the time, and I remember my buddy, big old Raider fan, his name's Mark. I remember every Sunday I would make him watch the Niner games, and even he loved Aldon Smith when he got the sack.
Yeah, celebration.
Boom. Yeah. So he was great, man. I loved Aldon Smith, but it just sucks to see what alcohol could do to a career, because that guy could have been an all-time great if he had stayed the course.
Definitely would have been a Hall of Famer, man. Remember, he won when they did those awards. He beat Von Miller. He won that award at the ESPY, whatever the heck it was, the rookie. He was just absolutely amazing. But unfortunately, it was the drinking. And then, do you remember what I always do every time I text you? I would text Aldon, and you knew, oh, what do you do now? Yeah. Every time I just text Aldon, and it was like another DUI, another something. And it was crazy because the players, they loved him. If you remember during that time, between him and Kaepernick, the players loved Aldon. During that fight, all the players were on Aldon's side. They freaking couldn't stand Kaepernick. They would always, if you guys remember, they would talk shit to Kaepernick. All like defensive guys, because the way Kaepernick would talk to the media, they were like, dude, what the hell's their problem, you know? And they would always defend Aldon. Aldon was one of the guys, you know? Unfortunately, though, when you drink that much, man, it just sucked. And it sucked because Harbaugh would always give him chances, man. He got the DUI, I remember, on a Friday. And then he was playing on Sunday, and everyone was like, what the hell is he doing? But damn, it sucks, man, because he was one of my favorite players. I remember the NFC Championship game against Seahawks. One of the first plays when he got Wilson, he freaking strip sacked, and he grabbed that ball. We were going crazy, man. And he played great. It wasn't his fault that we lost that game, but he was a stud. And he was actually going to get a damn contract. I think, who was it? Balky was a GM. And they were talking about extending him, and then he gets another freaking DUI. So I was like, damn it, man. Why are you doing this, Aldon? I was pissed because I loved Aldon Smith, and I always wanted to give him chance after chance, but eventually it was just too much, man. And it sucks that that's how his career had ended, you know.
And I think what's even more heartbreaking, I don't even think he's that old right now, too.
Yeah, he's like 31, 32.
Yeah, so that's what even like sucks more, is that he still just couldn't get it together, like, during all those times, just, like, make a comeback. Because I always, like, was, like, rooting for him, even when he even played with the Raiders. I wanted him to do good. And even if he was after the Raiders, I wanted him to find a job. Because it sucks, like, you see, like, what happened with, like, players like Manziel, man. They have, like, 1 or 2 seasons, and then they're, like, done. And then they look back, and they're, like, crying wolf, you know, like, oh, what could have been? And I didn't want him to be, like, one of those players, like, looking back and, like, making excuses. Because I've heard previous interviews, too, where, like, he just had some hard demons, but, like, he never just, like, got through it, man.
But the thing with Manziel, man, Alden actually had talent. Yeah. Manziel sucked, man. Freaking Alden Smith would have been a Hall of Famer. There's no question about it. This guy was on the course to be one of the greatest Niners of all time. He just blew it.
But just talking about, like, demons about that, you know, just, like, I didn't want him to be, like, one of those players, be, like, what could have been, and, like, crying wolf, and then looking back, and then seeing, like, in a documentary, you know, and, like,
it was everything. It was his drinking. There was things of him smoking, and then with the domestic violence, it was thing after thing. So I was like, man, Alden, what are you doing, man? But it is what it is, man. I just want to talk about that real quick, because, man, it would have been amazing, man. He was a Niner, and we loved him, but unfortunately, man, he threw it all away for.
Yeah, and then it broke up with the whole Kaepernick. That broke down the team, and then he had that incident with the party, and then we lost Delaney Walker because of it. Remember, like, we had to do that little trade because the whole, like, party fiasco and stuff.
Oh, yeah, like the big old house party.
Yeah, and then so we lost Delaney Walker, and so our whole team was split up after that. And it was, like, the side that was with Alden, and then it was, like, the Kaepernick side, and, like, we were just never the same after that. But man,
that was Harbaugh's last year when the fight happened too. So everything just sunk after that. We sucked for all these years, and finally we got back. But I don't know, man. It's just.
But when we were gelling, it was, like, amazing to watch. And it sucked that we couldn't, like, those guys, we couldn't get them a W.
I know, that was so close, man. We were there, but the thing is, Alden, he kind of, as far as, like, being a 49er, he was there in KC for the 10-year anniversary for the Niners team that lost the Super Bowl. He was there at the Levi Stadium, and it looks like he's in good graces, which is good. But he has to serve his time. You know, if you do stuff like that, man, you gotta serve your time. Finally, they said, "Hey, enough's enough." Man, after what, 30, whatever, how many DUIs and all that crap. But hopefully, he gets it together when he comes out. I don't know, maybe one last chance. I doubt it, but it is what it is, man. So the draft's coming up. Hopefully we get guys high character. We don't want these freaking dudes like Reuben Foster and all this crap, you know, guys that want to play. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, man, just want to go down memory lane for a second, talking about Alden Smith and what could have been, man. But that's what I got, man. Sly here with Flo and D. Talk to you guys next time. Peace. Do the Kaepernick.